Hello friends, welcome to the last part of the capacitor presentation series. This part deals with the basic circuits, measurement, testing, applications and selection of capacitors. The topics for discussion in part 13 are capacitor basic circuits, measurement of capacitor, testing of capacitors, important applications of capacitors, some guidelines for the selection of capacitors. Capacitors have a wide variety of uses in circuits. Some common capacitor circuits are introduced here. The RC timing circuit is formed when the capacitor is combined with a resistor. This circuit can provide a timing mechanism. The product of R and C values is the time constant. The capacitive voltage divider circuit have capacitors connected in series across an AC supply. This circuit follows the voltage divider rule. The voltage across each capacitor will be the product of its capacitive reactance and the circuit current. The sum of the individual voltage drops will be equal to the supply voltage. In power supply filter capacitors, the capacitors are used to smooth the pulsating voltage from a power supply into a steady state direct current. Here the charging and discharging of the capacitor in consecutive half cycles make the output steady. When a capacitor is used for AC coupling, it transfers the AC portion of a signal to output and blocks the DC from being transmitted. The bypass capacitor shunts AC signals of a DC to ground. This removes AC noise from DC signals, allowing a much cleaner DC signal to be used in a circuit. The RC differentiator gives output as the derivative of input voltage. It acts as a differentiator only when the time constant is too small. This can also act as a high pass filter. In an RC integrator, the output voltage is proportional to the integral of the input voltage. The condition for integrating circuit is the RC value must be much greater than the time period. It can act as a low pass filter. The power spikes in logic circuits can be eliminated by placing a small spike remover capacitor across the power leads of the logic circuit. Here the capacitor acts like a small battery that supplies power during the spike through discharge. To measure the capacitance, we use a capacitance meter. This may be a standalone capacitance meter or part of a multimeter or LCR meter. To measure the capacitance, simply switch the meter to the capacitance mode, take the probes and measure across the leads of the capacitor. For polar type capacitors, while measuring, ensure that the positive lead is touching the positive probe and the negative lead is touching the ground probe. Capacitors can be tested with different methods like resistance test, capacitance value test, or voltage test. In resistance test, the testing parameter is the capacitor's resistance. Take the ohmmeter and place the probes across the leads of the capacitor. If the resistance is very low or very high, the capacitor is likely to be defective. A normal good capacitor will have a resistance reading between these two extremes. In capacitance test, the testing parameter is the capacitance of the capacitor. First, read the capacitance from the exterior markings of the capacitor. Set the LCR meter or multimeter to the capacitance setting. Place the multimeter probes on the leads of the capacitor. If the reading shown in the meter is nearer or little lesser to the capacitance rating of the capacitor, it is a good capacitor. In voltage test, the testing parameter is the capacitor's voltage. Apply a DC voltage to the capacitor leads, which is less than the voltage rating of the capacitor, for a few seconds. After the charging is finished, disconnect the capacitor from the voltage source and read its voltage with the voltmeter. For a healthy and good capacitor, the charged voltage value can be read at first before it rapidly declines. Some of the important capacitor applications are discussed here. A capacitor can store electrical energy when disconnected from its charging circuit. Capacitors are used in power supplies to smooth the output of rectifiers. In power factor correction, the capacitors counteract inductive loading in order to make the load appear to be mostly resistive. In filtering and signal decoupling, the capacitors are used to separate the AC and DC components of a signal as they pass AC and block DC signals. The snubber capacitor creates a bypass path for the impulses generated due to the opening of inductive circuits and preserves the life of solid state switches. A motor starting capacitor is used to increase the coil current to help to start the motor. Capacitors can be used in analog circuits for signal processing applications. They can act as components of integrators, differentiators, and complex filters. They are also involved in negative feedback loop stabilization. The ability to block DC currents enable capacitors to be used to smooth the output voltages of power supplies. They are used to remove unwanted spikes from the signals that would otherwise cause damage or false triggering of semiconductors or digital components. Grading capacitors are used to equally distribute the voltage between the units of a high voltage circuit breaker. Capacitors are used in radio frequency tuning circuits to select information in particular frequency bands and to filter out interference. The sensing capacitors utilize the changes in capacitance due to the variations in physical or electrical characteristics of the dielectric, the changes in the distance between the plates, the changes in the effective area of the plates, etc. Groups of large, specially constructed low inductance high voltage capacitors are used to supply huge pulses of current for many pulsed power applications. In blocking applications, the capacitors are used to stop DC and to allow AC from one part of a circuit to another. In hold-up capacitor applications, the charge held by the capacitor is used to provide power for a circuit for a short while. The selection of capacitors is somewhat complicated. Even though the value may be correct, the wrong type of capacitor may lead to the malfunctioning of the circuit. Some of the key selection priorities to be considered are listed here. The dielectric type is one of the most important considerations to look at when buying a capacitor. The dielectric governs the size and package of the capacitor along with the electrical properties. It is necessary to consider the ripple current when buying capacitors for high current applications. Ensuring sufficient working voltage for capacitors of specific uses is very important. The working voltage should never be exceeded even with the transients or other variations. There should be a good and safe margin for the voltage. The package is another important factor when buying capacitors. Normally, the required type must be chosen depending on the using circuit assembly method. Cost is obviously a major consideration for most of the applications. It is necessary to secure high quality components for the minimum cost. There should be precautions for the usage of electrolytic capacitors. As their tolerance is very poor and they exhibit leakage, they should not be used for any applications where the value is critical. For specific applications, the capacitance value range is very important. Normally, selecting a capacitor with a little higher value than the designed value is better. Check the performance of ceramic capacitors and select accordingly, as they have entirely different properties depending on the types of ceramic material. There should be precautions for the usage of tantalum capacitor. Always run tantalums below their rated voltage. They cannot be subjected to overvoltage, being reverse biased or passing high currents. It may lead to exploding.